Hey Mike, some guys in suits are here to see you.
Alright.
Hey Mr. Katana, I see you're getting ready for another video. A new BVM?
Yes. I'm sorry. Who are you guys?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Agent Parker, and this is my partner, Agent Doss.
Agents of what exactly?
That's none of your concern, Red.
We actually wanted to talk to you about the upcoming 5th Wave review.
Alright. What about it?
We're just a bit concerned on how you're going to tackle the review. Based on your taste with past videos, we have some idea of your position.
Wait a minute. Are you guys like fans or something?
It's none of your damn business, man.
Doss, compose yourself. It's very important that we know how this will end.
Look, I don't know what to tell you guys. All I can say is that this story is getting what it deserves.
Deserves? What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. Guys, I have to start recording. Please, show yourselves out.
He's going to shit all over this, isn't he?
Most likely.
Fuck, man.
Look at the time now. Gotta get back popping the DVD. Sit back and enjoy the super awesome media. How's it going, bookworms? Filmsters, I'm Katana, and welcome back to another BVM. And today's episode is gonna be a good one because we are taking a first glimpse at this generation's literary works. I mean, this book in particular was published around 4 years ago, and it just got its theatrical release last year. Seriously, I just felt so old touching it. But it also invited me to check out the advancement of literature within the 2010s. So, join me as we check out the future of YA storytelling by taking a look at Rick Yancey's The 5th Wave. Aliens! It's another teen alien story. Move out of the way, John goddamn generic Smith. We got a new protagonist in Ohio, Cassiopeia Marie Sullivan. A typical quirky 16-year-old redhead who's living her normal awkward life until a full-fledged alien invasion comes over with 4 waves of attack. The first takes out all electronics and electricity. The second is a literal tidal wave. The third is an enhanced bird flu virus. And the fourth activates the infested aliens living inside humans since 1995, biding their time for the signal to strike! In a short amount of time, Cassie becomes separated from her friends, grieves over the death of her mom, and now spends her days in the woods surviving with her dad and baby brother Sam. They eventually find shelter at a camp until a group of military men arrive to mark the day as Cassie's worst nightmare. They take her brother and other children away on a safety bus while executing the rest of the inhabitants later that evening. Cassie becomes the last survivor of Camp Ashpit and begins her mission to take her brother away from the man who took him away. Now, doesn't this sound like the beginning to an awesome survivalist story? Don't let it fool you, don't let it fool you. Alright, let's talk about characters. Cassie is our leading protagonist, and a tough one at that. Not in strength or in intelligence, but just tough to love. Her arsenal consists of a teddy bear, an M16, and layers upon layers of dry, witty sarcasm and an angsty attitude that makes it difficult when she's being serious or not. And this isn't even after everything went to hell. Even in the normal life, she was still like this. I'm just gonna put a little pin on Cassie for now. Don't worry. She's got a whole segment dedicated to her. Ben Parrish is Cassie's high school football superstar crush. To her, he is everything. To him, she doesn't even exist. His journey through the invasion is more hardcore as he's saved from the third wave's red plague disease and enlisted in the military program to fight against the alien invaders. But not only does his perspective carry more of the action-packed moments, he's got some character growth as well, walking his own path of redemption by becoming a soldier, while also coming to terms with the loss of his little sister creates a character that I couldn't stop following. Evan Walker is the well too perfect farm boy who finds Cassie wounded in the leg after a sniper attack. And I am not exaggerating. His character is the ideal model of a man. Very built, handsome, caring, well manicured. I mean, how lucky is Cassie to find the only hunk that's still alive? But that ideal image gets distorted further into the story, bringing up suspicion and secrets during Cassie's stay. And then there's little Sam Sullivan, Cassie's 5-year-old brother. He's the cute and adorable character that Yancey probably created that's a symbol of hope and purity in this dying world. Just every moment with him can get an aww out of you by cuteness alone. These are our main 4. Well, mainly just Cassie and Ben. The best thing I experienced from this book was its story. It caught me by surprise that this wasn't an average alien invasion with the whole extraterrestrial battle with futuristic guns and foreign beasts. This wasn't that kind of species, and when you learn the true nature about these aliens, you'll see why. These silencers, as Casey calls them, has a unique way of conquering. The first 3 waves are pretty generic in terms of disease and annihilation, but the 4th wave ties in with the book's major theme of trust. It becomes a psychological war, having the survivors confused and extremely hostile because they can't tell who the enemy is, who's friend and who's foe. And there's this one good twist we'll get into later about what exactly the 5th wave is. I mean, that whole section of the book was planned really well and the pacing was handled perfectly. And although this goes against what most people say, I liked Ben's perspective of the story. Reading through his time at the airbase felt like I was learning more about the plot and progression of the story. His change from being a stereotypical jerk to a leader was at a steady pace, making time to introduce his colorful cast of teammates and building up to missions that the book could have had more of, but nevertheless were enjoyable. So yeah, I like the aliens and Ben. Good times. Good times. How I wish it was just those times. I hated Cassie. Didn't enjoy her at all. A lot of people didn't like Ben, which I can't even understand because that's when the story felt like something was being accomplished. For a leading role, Cassie barely does anything. Sure, she runs her mouth with almost everyone she comes across and has her confrontations, but nothing that's deserving of main character. But what really pissed me off was reading this very short 1-sentence review on the very first page. One from the Cleveland Plain Dealer that said, "Step aside, Katniss." Step aside for who? The girl who spends all her sections walking and constantly boasting about her obvious need to survive? The girl who gets shot on the second real threat and is bedridden for the majority of the book? The only real thing Cassie and Katniss have is their strong motivation to save a sibling. They are indeed different circumstances, but having to make the comparison that Cassie is somewhat better is downright idiotic. Step aside, Katniss. No, Katniss, you stay where the hell you are. Cassie, you can go suck on a bird's beak for all I care. And as much as I hated reading Cassie's side, it became unbearable when Yancey just had to throw in a forced, pointless romance. Because a leading heroine is nothing without a man by her side, and that's wrong for 2 reasons. One, this Evan guy is super creepy. During her stay, he bathed her naked, read her diary, lurks and stalks her whenever she's alone sometimes, and tops it off with his secrets. You could probably understand why he acts like that when you learn more about him, but it's still creepy enough to be more a friend than a lover. And second, this doesn't flow with Cassie's character at all. After everything she's been through, her ability to trust is non-existent. But just one look at this guy and constantly talking about his looks allows herself to be easily vulnerable, and apparently her tears licked off. What the fuck? Yeah, step aside, Katniss. While it was understandable what you were accomplishing with your love for Peeta in book 1, Cassie has you beat with a love so disturbing and has little to no chemistry. And for some reason, this whole romance takes up a third of the book. Really? This is where our main character takes us, not on some adventurous daring rescue to save her brother, but to quickly get sidetracked in the Stephen King sexy version of misery. This is why Ben's perspective was so much better, because shit actually happened. It at least tried to build something up about the 5th wave, getting closer to the truth and all that. But oh, how I dreaded seeing that section end in the corner of my eye, pleading to the book that I would sacrifice one of my balls than to go through another section with Goldilocks and a sexy manicured lumberjack! But that doesn't even top it. No, the worst thing about this book is this god awful writing. How could people say that this book had great writing? Half of the lines were just repeating themselves. The same talk about humanity. The constant reminders about how the earth is dead. I mean, does Yancey think we have the minds of a goldfish? I know the world is dead. A fucking tsunami teabagged the population. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone didn't die and actually became goldfish. And yeah, Cassie, I get it. Emma's eyes are just so sweet like chocolate. So how about you not repeat that 50 times over and find another description that is brown and sweet. Like, I don't know, sprinkled with feces? Maybe? There's just no passion in sentences, no depth. I feel like it's my responsibility to make up the world around me because Yancey couldn't figure out how to do it himself. Don't believe me? Well, just take a look at these two sentences.
These woods have been home for a long time. I know every path, every tree, every vine and bush. I lived in the same house for 16 years, and I can't tell you exactly what my backyard looked like, but I can describe in every detail every leaf and twig in this stretch of forest.
So do it, describe it to me, paint me a picture about this forest because right now it's too bland in general to be considered interesting. This book throws around a lot of somethings and nothings and other non-specific words that make the environment dull and lifeless. You can still make an ugly world beautiful but without any colorful descriptions. It just makes the writing style crap, just an unfinished coloring book with the only crayon being gray, dragging down the enjoyable moments along with it and making the even more crappy moments hell, making this whole experience nothing more than sitting on a huge
Jesus, calm the fuck down, Brad.
Oh! Overall, not my best read. I like the concept of the aliens and their plan of attack, but the execution of it all was incredibly poor, along with a lead who wasn't leading anything. Just a bunch of mindless walking, honeymooning early to the pointless romance, leaving the plot advancement to the secondary characters, which is such a bad sign. I honestly wish I could spin the clock and get my time back because this wasn't worth it. And that's all I gotta say about the book portion. I'm gonna shut up now before someone else walks on set and punches me in the face. Jesus. Anyways, let's just jump right into last year's 16% bomb, the film adaptation to the fifth wave. Oh boy. So the movie begins with Cassie running through the woods until she reaches a gas station, looting whatever's left until she hears a cry for help. She enters a back room to find a wounded soldier holding each other off in a standoff. Now, I'll admit that this is one hell of an opening to showcase what the trailer promises and subtly introduces the theme of trust, but I'm just letting you all know right now to enjoy all this because...
What's in your hand?
This is the last cool thing Cassie will ever do in this movie. It's true! The next scene drops us back in time to Cassie's normal life? What's with Hollywood showcasing every teen protagonist at a party? It's become a cliche at this point. I mean, from her description in the book, she doesn't even strike me as a party girl. She's more quirky and keeps to herself, but here, I'm getting the Valley Girl vibe.
Okay, Liz. I'm gonna see you Monday. I gotta go home. Let's get down.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
Text me when you're home.
Okay.
I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye. Are you going to the gym this Friday? I am going to the gym this Friday. Would you like me to make you a protein shake? I would love a protein shake. You're the best. No, you're the best. I love you. I love you. Oh! Jesus! It's like I'm listening to Janice.
Oh my God!
Kill me now.
Cassie leaves the party, finding her crush Ben waiting by a car, which is already betraying any characterization from the book because how many times are we reminded that Cassie was always invisible to him? And here she just gets the nerve to say something.
Nice phone case.
You have something against pink?
No, I totally like it.
I'm just kidding. This is actually my sister's phone. I dropped her off at a sleepover and she took mine by mistake. Mine's much cooler. It's Spider-Man.
Doesn't matter who you are, you got a Spider-Man case, it's still cool. Things start picking up the next day, which is great because it's a point the movie did right that the book lacked, giving us a good visual representation of the waves instead of summarizing them up quick. First, it began with the arrival of the mothership, about the size of the moon from Majora's Mask if we're comparing sizes. And if you put them side by side, that looks scary as fuck. No one will survive at that point. Then it proceeds with the first wave. As Cassie is in class texting her friend Lisbeth about end of the world sex with Ben, the power goes out. And not just the power, but the cars are breaking down, plus a kamikaze. The second wave hit while Cassie and Sam were out getting river water. This one doesn't actually make any sense visually because you would be guessing how the hell is this water rising? It's not Poseidon, he's busy with another crappy adaptation. The book had it where the others dropped these enormous metal rods from the sky, landing in the sea and creating tsunamis. Though I will say that I love the scene where this lady just accepts it. She accepted her fate and absorbed the blow. I don't blame her either. The faster she's out of this movie, the better her life will be. Also, go see Spider-Man Homecoming. My god, Sony's already 2 for 2 with these Spider-Man references. The third wave brings out the infection, took the idea from Birdemic and used the whole avian population to spread what was known as the Red Plague, where all your body would just leak blood and expand until you literally exploded, sending the virus to others nearby. Here, it's nothing too grave, red eyes, but aside from that, the generics separate the people even though they look totally normal sickness.
Hey, your mom said you were here.
Cassie! Cassie!
Mom? What are you... She's quarantined.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, she looks like a real hot mess. Eventually, the Red Plague catches up with Cassie's mom, killing her off. The Sullivans can't stay there any longer and decide to head out into the woods. From this little exchange between Cassie and her dad, it really shows how bland the characters are here. I know that the dad had the personality in the book, being the one who was looking at the bright side of things, contrasting with Cassie's strong grip of despair and reality. This in fact was a pretty emotional scene where Cassie punched her dad in the face because he just wouldn't stop being so accepting of the situation. But here? Nothing. No developed tension, no sense of emotion, just two people spouting exposition. The Sullivans walk far enough until they reach Camp Ashpit, a refugee camp for the remaining survivors. The movie wastes no time establishing the security of the place or introducing colorful creeps like Crisco, but slaps a Luger right into Cassie's hands and immediately sends the military to their rescue. And I bet you're wondering, hey, how come those cars are working? Answer: at least the book had a reason, saying that they had vehicles on the ground that weren't affected. Still doesn't explain the school bus, but whatever. The movie just glosses over it, thinking that the audience wouldn't suspect that it's suspicious that the world's electricity goes out, and yet these are still working? 20 minutes in and the movie's already compromising its position. And then we're introduced to the head honcho, Colonel Vosh. I would vouch and say this was a good casting choice for the movie. I could definitely see Lee Shriver as Vosh. The deepened voice, that tough exterior, I can just instantly look at him and know that this was the right call.
Adults, please move to the mess hall for a briefing. Children, please move to the buses for transport.
Now, let's take a moment to dissect this bus scene. What Vosh's team does is gather up all the kids and bring them to the Wright-Patterson Air Base for safety. Just the kids, meaning that Daddy would have to stay behind. And this is different from the book since Cassie was also considered an adult, which doesn't make any sense because when you see earlier, there are other teens just like her at the base. So this makes me believe that her denied entry in the book was simply because of plot. But this isn't even the part I'm concerned about. It's the reason Cassie still doesn't make it on the bus. As they're getting settled, Sammy realizes that he doesn't have his teddy bear and Cassie decides to get it, cutting short the tear-jerking moment in the book. She gets off, grabs the bear and finds the bus leaving without her. See, this just sucks. The book handled this way better by adding it to the list of tragedies that kept befalling Cassie's life, events that she doesn't have control over. This was a dramatic moment that continued to follow the theme because even though Cassie hated the idea, she needed to trust her dad and the army that this was the best choice for Sam. Seriously, when the book got it right, it got it right. It showed that selfless side of Cassie to think about the safety of her brother instead of a simple accidental departure. The movie treated this moment more as she just left a really expensive phone or laptop on the bus as opposed to a baby brother. Now stranded with the adults, Cassie goes to meet with her dad, who's attending the meeting by Colonel Vosh, explaining to them that the others might be inside them. It drags on a bit before the execution begins with the visiting soldiers shooting down the survivors. Cassie runs far away from all the commotion until Vosh and his team finish, leaving Camp Ashpit. She returns to see the result of the massacre, finding her dad dead among the crowd. She picks up her M16 and Teddy, runs back into the woods, falls, and cries her grief away. And if you think I was being harsh now, I am just getting started. These first 30 minutes were probably the best in the entire movie, but after this point... Now we begin the second perspective at Wright-Patterson Air Base. Sam has finally arrived and is waiting with the other kids for further instructions, but he isn't the only familiar face here.
Here.
He becomes our eyes through the screening process, just a simple checkup and the injection of a tracker in the back of his neck, you know, so he wouldn't have any ideas from escaping this movie. I mean, so he's safe. And can you believe this is actually Riznik? He's been gender swapped for this film, which is totally fine, but why did they give her two professions? Now she doesn't have any time to shit talk Ben into a proud and stanley soldier. In fact, most of her good scenes involving Ben's growth are put as deleted scenes. Well, I guess that's fine. At least she's taking Ben to the White Room, showing him another kid strapped to a chair. And when he puts on these sterile 3D glasses, he sees... Oh my god, this looks both wrong and impossible. How is it taking up that much space? The tentacles will be sticking out of his nose by this point. And I don't know if it's just me, or is this just a subtle message that kids watch too much Japanese porn? This kid literally has hentai on the mind, and it seems to like his company as well. And with a push of a button, Zombie Ben shows his stance against the aliens. We are brought back to Cassie, now living the life of a District 12 warrior, relying on survival skills she does not possess at all. Step aside, Katniss. Between you and Cassie, I picked a small town Barbie from Ohio any day. We finally return to present day time after Cassie shoots the crucifix soldier. Next day she's out on the highway on her way to Wright-Patterson until she's sniped in the leg. She stays a second under the car, rediscovers the will to live, exhausts all of her ammo, falls, and cries until she passes out. In that time we jump back to Colonel Vosh giving this pep talk to all the kid recruits while also going through a montage of Ben and his squad's training. Sucks because I actually enjoyed these moments in the story, but it's completely appropriate to save on screen time. The speech Vosh gives is pretty inspiring. The training scenes at least show faces of the squad even though they won't be as memorable as in the book. And wait just a spidey second. 3 Spider-Man references and one that wasn't even intentional? Look, I wanted to keep him in the dark for so long, but at this point it's just getting ridiculous. It would be fair to note that one of the producers for this film is none other than the original Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, who can't seem to let go of the glory days. Look, Toby, please don't start, come on man, don't start crying, come on, we're doing the show here, alright? Look, Tom Holland is rocking the suit now, and you just gotta accept it, alright? Maybe you'll get a cameo in Venom, but that is a big if, so cheer up buddy, suck it up, and we'll get through this, alright? Alright? After the speech, we finally make it to this terrible part of the story. Cassie is saved and in the bed of her caretaker. And the movie is so aware of its creepiness that it treats its introduction like a goddamn horror flick. Yes, meet her savior everyone. Her Prince Charming we're all supposed to love right after showing this. Next morning, she's acting on her impulses and tries to find her gun, but falls to her knees and makes enough of a racket for her savior to hear.
I know you're awake. Cassie.
How the hell do you know my name?
Your driver's license. I'm Evan.
No! Look, in the majority of cases, I would never critique a person on how they look in the film adaptation, but here is the fucking exception. The book had me sit through so many repeated lines about Evan having specifically brown eyes. I mean, it was all Cassie could ever talk about, like she had some kind of eye fetish or something. Now you're showing me an Evan without those brown chocolatey eyes that just melt your heart? Is that the case right now? Is this just a prank, bro? Cause I ain't laughing!
What did you do? Your leg, Cassie.
Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Don't!
Jesus.
Whoa, we jumping to the bathroom scene already? Listen man, she's wounded, but that doesn't mean verbal consent. Oh, he's just patching up again. Wait, but what if we take the visuals away?
This is gonna hurt.
Just do it, just do it. Good. How long have I been here? Jesus!
After fixing Cassie up, Evan brings her down for breakfast, trying to hold a conversation with the most wooden expression the whole way through. At least Book Evan was described as having a pleasant smile. This guy just gets lost in his emotions.
Why'd you bring me here? What do you want?
My family. The way everything's happened, I guess it just makes me feel more human.
And you need help with that? Feeling human?
You've got mail.
Don't you?
We jump back to Zombie Ben and his squad chilling out before they are delivered their new member, Ringer. And instead of going the book's route by using a soldier's mental breakdown to transition a new member, the movie just makes her a punk who got kicked out of her squad. Not the same girl who was ambitious of climbing the ranks or going after Zombie Ben's position as leader, which the movie thought was also deleted scenes material.
See, Zombie here still has some fight left in him.
I like that.
53? Meet your new squad leader.
But at least the toughness factor is still high.
I like to play chess. Do you play?
No, actually. But if you want to play some strip poker later.
Oh, shit.
She's cool.
Oh no, there's no way I'm going back in there.
Good.
Because we need to talk.
We'll be taking a short break, gentlemen. But Mr. Katana, you must keep talking about good stuff about the movie, and especially that one shirtless scene about how it saved all of humanity and blah 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 blah. We're back. At the farmhouse, Cassie is trying to plan her route to Wright-Patterson, but can't seem to concentrate with the rugged Evan chopping wood outside her view. I mean, OMG, how distracting. And this somehow leads her to snoop around this room, uncovering some deepened wounds and stepping on the squeaky floorboard, where she opens up to find her gun hidden away. She flips out and escapes the house. Blindly running to the forest, she trips the alarm, alerting the Walker 5000 to catch up with her and shield her from the drone and one of the silencers. He brings her back, trying to explain himself about keeping the gun for his own safety and that going to Wright-Patterson is pointless.
Rallying points. Places like Wright-Patterson. They're obvious targets.
You think that Sammy's already dead?
I'm sorry, Cassie.
You're wrong, Evan. Alright, he's alive. He's alive. And I'm gonna go get it.
Immediately, Evan follows her upstairs to say that he'll go with her to the base. This somehow leads to Cassie taking that as an insult to her capabilities of doing it alone, which, let's be honest, is more than justified here. And then it escalates Evan's creep factor a couple notches.
How are you gonna stop me?
I don't know, maybe I'll shoot you!
What, like you shot that guy with a crucifix?
But you read my journal.
I didn't think you were gonna live. I'm sorry. I'll get you there.
Holy crap, this guy's a fucking machine! I heard they were playing around with AI technology, but I didn't think this movie had the budget for a prototype. I mean, no emotion out of that slap. This is the future, people. Embrace it! Returning to Zombie Ben, he's sparring with Ringer, who's just trying to read his character, getting everything you need to know about him in just 1 or 2 sentences.
You did good in school, had a bunch of friends. You probably played football. You might have even been team captain. You weren't ready for the end of the world.
Also, their deal about training is so stupid.
How about this? I take you down. You teach us how to shoot.
And when you don't,
I stop asking.
do.
In the book, Ringer was going for the position of squad leader because she didn't think Ben was a good fit. I'm here sitting and wondering why she didn't ask him here. It's not like it wasn't set up. The motives were there. Twice!
You zombie?
Yeah?
I was the leader of my last squad. Those kids are gonna be dead before their boots hit the ground. Especially with you as squad leader.
It was practically gift wrapped in. All the movie had to do was open it and stay a little faithful. We cut right back to Naughty Dog's The Last of Us as Cassie and Evan start their journey to Wright-Patterson, and Cassie wanted to learn about disarming someone during their pit breaks.
Let's just leave any potential disarming to me, alright?
No, I need to be ready.
Cassie, it's okay. You don't have to be tough.
Well, according to her position as main lead and to prove the Cleveland plain dealer right, she does!
OMG, this is just like having your boyfriend teaching you to play miniature golf or bowling. This is just so romantic. Who cares if my heart pumps blood and his pumps oil? We're totally an item. Can't you see it yet? I'm Miss Dorothy and he's my Tin Man. Ooh!
Back at the airbase, Ringer is keeping her end of the deal by teaching the squad to be better shooters. And Ben is taking to meet with Colonel Vosh, debriefing him on the mission to save his squad stuck in Dayton. I guess the squad doesn't need to rank up in order to go out on missions, just like in the book. You know what? I'm cool with that because I'm channeling all my hope into this mission. This is my favorite section of the book, and if they screw it up, oh! But before all that, we need to enter the forest again for some boring attempt at character building with the side of, my god, those abs are yum yum. Seriously, they can't even pass off these conversations with any sense of interest. It just feels unnatural how the movie finally decides to derail from the plot. To be fair, the book wasn't any better. Their personalities were one-dimensional, but at least those one-dimensional traits were strong enough to give these characters emotions. Here, they're just reciting facts from the book and getting it out of the way instead of presenting it in a more creative and entertaining way.
Do you have a compass?
No, but I can make one out of a pin and a glass of water.
Didn't peg you for a Girl Scout.
Would you peg me as a cheerleader?
You said it, not me. I had a scholarship to Kent State, mechanical engineering. Thought I was some hick, huh?
You said it, not me.
That's why I like returning to the airbase, because at least a small number of characters kept the scenes a little more vibrant. I mean, this is pretty adorable with Sam and Ben talking the night before their departure to Dayton.
Places we've grown, all of us are done for.
Could you guys please shut up?
Yeah, we do, yeah, we do. We live in a beautiful world.
It's already sad enough to see how a soldier spends what might be his last night, but it is gut-wrenching to see how a kid soldier spends his last night. But I feel the movie is teasing me at this point. As we inch closer to the Dayton mission, we cut yet again to Cassie and Evan. There's no connection. That last scene walking to the forest was probably the only time this movie ever showed them trying to get close, while the other times followed the chain of events. This is not deserving of this at all.
I should probably cover this stuff.
Whatever, I'm done. Enjoy your soulless love. Next scene! Finally, the time has come for the squad to deploy to Dayton. Well, most of them. Zombie Ben made sure that little Sammy stayed innocent.
Zombie! Let me out of here!
One helicopter ride later, the squad lands in Dayton, scouting the area before finding the enemy with their visors. And my god, these images are even more terrible. Just look how it falls. I could easily put my own JPEG image there and have a similar animation. As for the sequence of events, I say it's pretty faithful to the book. It amplifies the action a bit by adding more to 4 enemies. But like the rest of the movie, character development is crap. When they retreat in the bus, Oompa gets shot while trying to confront a panicking teacup, and things get pretty emotional. This movie wants you to care for this kid. Sure, on the surface level, it's just a kid, so you will automatically care. But the book had time to give this kid some dialogue and interaction with the others to make him a person. Here, I think they just said his name once.
You're cheating.
Cheating? Don't you tow my car. You hear me, Oompa?
Huh? You heard it? You heard his name? Now you must cry. With one man down for the count, the squad devises a plan to escape. Ringer offers herself as the distraction to blow up the bus while the others run for cover in the department store. And then we make it to the greatest twist this book had to offer. But the way it's executed here feels so off. Based on the deduction that these aliens are afraid of the kids next door, Ringer decides to instantly go rogue and rip the tracker out of her neck, showing the green skull and everyone else's visors. Ben then decides to tear his off because he puts the truth all together.
I'm not an other. I don't even think any of those people out there shooting at us are others. Resnick, Bosch, they lied to us. Green doesn't mean alien, green means human. Just without one of these.
Why would the army want us to kill other humans?
Because the army, Resnick, Vosh, they're the others. We're not fighting the fifth wave. We are the fifth wave.
I don't know, when I saw this scene, I didn't feel anything. I don't know what, but the movie didn't create nearly an impact as the book did. I think it comes down to a multiple of factors. The way the movie was paced and rushed through all of Ben's processing and didn't even show Ringer going crazy. The fact that Ben figured it out instead of Ringer, seeing that she was the smarter one in the book. Maybe the reactions of all the kids wasn't strong enough or didn't linger enough on the fact. Or maybe it was a combination of all of this. It wasn't that bad a scene, but comparing it to the book, I didn't get any sense of holy crap, they've been killing each other off this entire time. After convincing the other members, Ben remembers that he tied Sam up in the bathroom and needs to go back, settling on a plan to shoot himself and get carried back to base, leading us back to the spooning lovebirds about to be assaulted by silencers in the dead of night. And I just love how we get a pre-reveal before the big reveal.
Evan Walker, you're out of your drone sector.
How did the silencer know his name? What did he mean by drone section? The movie's not even trying at this point. I think it all could have been said through action. The way Evan is flying through the woods, the way he's able to stand a fight against the silencers, the way he rips a metal bar off a car, all while Cassie watches and occasionally struggles. There's no way in hell you're getting one cool fight in the scene! After finishing off the intruders, Cassie holds Evan at gunpoint, finally seeing the truth.
You're one of them, you're a fucking other.
I'm human. But I'm other too. I'm both.
Now Evan is coming clean about being an other, the way he awakened in this farmer boy's body, the incredibly sappy speech about love.
Our kind believe that love is just a trick.
Do you really believe that?
I did. But then I saw you.
But then comes the sad truth about Evan that Cassie never knew.
Did you shoot me?
No.
Yes.
I saved you.
No, you didn't. You shot her. You fucking liar. You shot her. Why keep him so perfect? This is a man who made mistakes. That whole change for love didn't happen until he shot her. Even if this romance was stupid and pointless, that reveal was still good enough to keep from Cassie. But without it, this whole scene just makes her look like an idiot. Wow, he saved you twice, didn't shoot you, took care of your leg, let you grope his body, give you information about the other's plan, and you still leave! Without him for that matter, which is another thing. How was she going to get through the airbase without his intellect, without any plan or idea about maneuvering the base? He's your only good chance of survival because so far, all you've been doing was falling and crying. I mean, that was your first fucking move to get on the damn bus! But somehow she manages to keep up the act and go through the whole process, right up to the button again. She tricks Dr. Resnick and chokes her out while the kid watches. And this is the best representation of how I'm feeling right now. This is exactly how the whole audience was watching this movie. Cassie strips the doctor off her uniform and sneaks around the base, while Ben is talking to Colonel Vosh about what he knows about the fifth wave now, having Vosh take him away for termination while also dealing with Cassie's intrusion. Ben is brought out, but escapes his escort. Cassie is running through the corridors. The two of them eventually meet, with Ben recognizing her because Cassie isn't a loser, and they run together before being stopped by soldiers.
No, it's fine. He's one of us. It's okay. Evan, what are you doing here?
Helping you. Who's he?
Who's he? Whew. Why, Evan, he's the finishing puzzle to this terrible love triangle where you can now choose a side. Are you Team Evan, Team Ben, or my personal favorite, Team Bear? Team Bear, Team Bear, Team Bear. It sucks he didn't get enough screen time though. Well, the triangle doesn't stay together for too long as Evan announces that he's going to blow up the whole damn joint with bombs he supposedly has.
I was wrong when I said I was both one of you and one of them. You can't be both. You have to choose. I choose you.
Aww. Get the fuck out before I vomit. With Evan out of the picture, Cassie and Ben are booking it as the others are boarding the kids in the plane to escape the base. With her eagle eye vision, Cassie manages to float through the crowd and find Sam. And I would just be a monster if I dissed this heartwarming moment.
I missed you, Cassie.
Look what I brought back for you. It's Bear.
I love you.
Reunited at last, Cassie, Ben, and Sam run out into the fresh air where they lock eyes with Vosh, and thus begins a fight between them and a goddamn helicopter. Look, even the movie's environment is tired of their bullshit and literally falling apart before them. Lucky for them, Ringer comes out of nowhere to save their asses. They all hop into the car and drive away from the destroyed airbase. He's not coming back. But at least she's got this guy. No, not him. Him! Team Bear for life! So after a little teaser for a sequel that will never come true, the gang sits together eating a small breakfast and ending the 5th wave. This was a terrible movie, but the faithful adaptation, seeing that the book was somewhat of this quality. In some ways, you could see it as trying to compare crap with crap, and you just gotta dig your fingers through the feces to find some gold. Luckily, there were a few gold nuggets with the book that grants it the winner, but just by this much. I'm struggling to say good things about this movie because it's very scarce. I'll stand by what I said. The first 30 minutes were the best of the film. I believe it had the best pacing to set up the situation and gave time to visually demonstrate how grave the first 4 waves were. Really, that's how this movie deceived me, by a beginning that started so well, but I was simply a fool to take the bait. And for those complaining that the movie was cliche and predictable and derivative, it didn't surprise me in a way because that's exactly how the book went. But at least with the book, there was more life. This movie was so boring. There was no variation between the characters since everyone decided to play the serious role, which is fine since this is an apocalypse movie and the tone calls for it. But why Cassie? Why the main lead? She should have kept her sarcasm since that's what differentiated her from the rest. And this was the perfect chance to derail from the book and show just how badass and a strong heroine she could be. But like the book, she does barely anything. Her top routines to fall and cry were the only memorable moments I wanted to remember. She didn't come off nearly as cold and shut off as the rest of humanity and just flowed with how the story directed her. I was more disappointed with Ben's character. It completely skipped over his reasons for wanting to survive, glossed over the significance of that necklace, and just jump cut to the expositional moments, all to follow the story. And this is the main gist with every bad adaptation, every terrible adaptation, when you just cut right to the main scenes to save time, but forget to spare the small moments to make these characters fucking characters. Change the story, change the world or the series of events, but if you forget to put any depth into these characters, it's going to turn out crap. And not just for adaptations, but any movie in general. No one here looked invested in the roles they were given. They were just reading lines, thinking that saying those magic book words would be enough. And this romance, what romance? There was no time for romance. There shouldn't have been any romance to begin with because the characters had absolutely no chemistry. It was clearly forced for the sake of having a love triangle and pointless. Wow, the one guy she happens to find is super hot and super buff and fits all the necessary qualities for girls to cry over. The romance sucked, Cassie sucked, the fact that I was wishing death every 10 minutes sucked. So, my overall thoughts for this entire thing, it sucked!
Mr. Katana, what were you about to say?
This blows! That's amazing how the story got a huge following that I am questioning what passes for literature these days.
Keep your cool, Red. You don't want to go through with this.
Why the hell not? What's wrong with saying that this kind of rain can actually lead to permanent blindness?
Look, we were hoping we could keep it discreet, but it looks like that this isn't the case anymore. The thing is, the fifth wave is not a work of fiction.
Say what?
This isn't some alien story. It's a history book from a different universe. The others, they exist.
Oh, get that CW nonsense out of here.
Think about it. Have you ever found yourself loving something that most people hated?
Yeah?
And were there times you hated something that everyone else loved?
Yeah, so what? That's called having an opinion.
No, we have discovered that the others have been turning the humans against each other over the past centuries, starting small with interests and hobbies, and slowly growing to sensitive topics like politics and religion.
I don't follow. What does any of this have to do with the fifth wave?
Look, Red, this is like their Bible. They worship the events that took place in this second Earth, and there's a good chance that if their work is disrespected, they might attack.
This is just stupid. Other people already reviewed this and said bad things about it already.
Yeah, with 5 to 10 minute rants. Yeah, you go into hour-long videos dissecting every little problem. We can't take that chance. Are you willing to take a chance?
It's stupid.
Do you love your country, Red?
What?
Do you love your goddamn country?
What? Of course I do.
Then please, for the future of our world, trust our judgment and don't end things on a flat note.
Sorry about that. Now, what was I was saying? My overall thoughts on the fifth wave. It could have been better. I think my biggest gripe with the fifth wave was that it had the potential to be awesome. I genuinely enjoy these aliens who were made of pure consciousness and how they managed to wipe out a majority of the human race. The military aspects weren't all that bad. This could have been a decent story if it wasn't following all the typical tropes of a YA novel and just became its own thing. And there really isn't that much blame on the movie either. The visuals and camera shots were nice at times and there was a good cast here. I know they have talent, but they were given lines from a book that needed more creative details to work with. In both forms, the romance really wasn't needed and could have been more focused on the survival aspects and the love to save a sibling no matter the cost. Both the book and movie could have improved in their own unique way, but the fact that the movie had the recent chance to change but somehow came out a little more bland, it makes sense for the book to come out superior this round. Yeah. One second. How was it?
Excellent, Mr. Katana. You might have just saved the world today.
Really? Well, that's all that really matters. And if there's anything else you guys need help with... Oh. Okay. Bye.
Hey, yo. Should we tell him that we're just kidding about the fifth wave being real, man?
No, he kind of deserves it for being a dick.
Right? He was such a dick, man. He'd have to be so mean about it.
Right? I love the fifth wave.
No way, me too. Team Bear?
Team Bear!
Team Bear! Team Bear! Team Bear!
You know, I'm not much of a bragger, but I think this review just might have saved the world. You're welcome, Murph. Anyways, those are my final thoughts on the fifth wave. If you don't agree, well then read the book, watch the movie, and make your own opinions. I'm Katana, and I'm excited to say that next time we'll be exploring some foreign territory. Battle Royale, or as most people like to see it as the Japanese Hunger Games, is up next for revision. Be excited for that, and I'll see you all in the next review. God bless America. Woo!
This is Agent Parker.
And Agent Doss.
If you want to prove that you aren't alien scum, then verify your humanity by subscribing for more human reviews.
And to super prove you're human, follow up on his Facebook and Twitter for future updates.
If you're like us and fear the aliens take over our bodies, then relax your worries with fictional monsters from the City of Bones review.
If those also scare you, then check out his other series based on apes and starvation.
Any requests for video suggestions must be filtered and inspected in the comment section down below.
That is all. We were never here.
Farewell.